Hi everyone, happy Sunday. Welcome back or welcome to Literally What. I'm your host Taylor and I am so excited to be back sitting here and talking with you guys. We have seriously so much to catch up on, so I don't want to babble for too long, but just some housekeeping. My giveaway is still going on. It closes tomorrow or Tuesday, I believe. I think it's the 15th, so I guess 2 days. So definitely go to my Instagram and enter that if you want a chance to win. 3 of you guys are going to win. So make sure you go head over there. And if you're not following the Instagram, go follow the Instagram, go follow the TikTok, subscribe to the YouTube. I upload my episodes every single week. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, make sure to give a 5-star review because every little bit helps me out. So let's just go ahead and get into some hot gossip, hot take stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what? Okay, guys, first and foremost, before we jump into all of our gossip and celeb stories, seriously, my thoughts and prayers are with every single person affected by the second Hurricane Milton. I've lived in Florida a year now, and this is, I think, the third hurricane that we have been hit with this year, and we live in Central Florida, so we really don't get that affected, and I still have friends down here who live closer to the coast. I still see all of the videos and just the news stories that come out of just this awful hurricane and how it affects people in their homes and just their livelihoods. And it just weighs so heavy on my heart because I feel like now that I'm in Florida, I hear a lot more about it than I normally would. And it's awful. So I've just been praying for everyone who has been affected. And I'm just praying that Florida will be kind of left alone for a while when it comes to hurricanes. And it's just so sad seeing all the stories come out of it. I saw something about there was a dog tied to a fence on the highway, and they luckily they found it. They got it out of that situation before the hurricane hit, and it is now with a new foster family. But to anyone who just leaves their animals, or just like whoever did that to that dog, I mean, scum of the earth. Like, any person who can deliberately choose to just be awful to an animal, I think you are like the lowest of the low, and it is just so upsetting to see that. And I remember seeing just a lot of animal shelters that are outside. There was one, I think, in Miami, Florida that Dave Portnoy posted about, and they were just asking basically people to foster animals who, you know, needed somewhere to go for the hurricane. And I wished more than anything that I was able to just go and pick up all those dogs and animals and bring them home with me, and it just wasn't going to be possible. But just if you do live by anything like that when a hurricane is hitting, or just in general, and you have the ability to go and grab an animal, like, please, because animals, to me, like, I always say that animals are God's gifts to us that, like, we do not deserve, and animals, like, they show us love only through actions, and that's why I'm always like, actions speak louder than words. Like, my dog and my cat, like, they're gonna love me no matter what. They don't talk to me, but I know they love me more than anything, and your animals are going to love you no matter what you do. So that's my little animal tangent, because when I saw that story, it just like broke my heart. And just any sad story about an animal, it'll take me a couple days to recover. I'm very sensitive when it comes to that. But just in general, please care about your animals. Please be on the lookout for other animals who are in need. And that's my little spiel about that. With that being said, just again, prayers to everyone. And I know there's a lot of like GoFundMes and just like places that you can donate to help out people who have been affected by the hurricanes. So that's been amazing that everyone's been helping out in that way. Yeah, so just a lot of craziness. There was also the story about Lieutenant Dan. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he lives in Tampa on this boat. And he said God told him to stay on the boat. There were policemen and just so many people going up to him the whole time telling him to seek shelter, because obviously Tampa was going to get hit pretty hard. He didn't leave, and he ended up living and can now tell the tale that he survived this hurricane. So I was following him. I was really worried about him, but seeing that he was okay made me feel a little bit better about the situation. But just so much craziness. I mean, it's just so sad. Anyway, another thing, this is my last little spiel about hurricanes. I also just saw online a lot of people being like, why aren't people leaving? Like, why aren't people evacuating? Blah, 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 blah. And I follow a lot of people who live in Florida. But a lot of what people don't understand is it's not very easy for every single person to be able to pack up and go travel and find somewhere to go. You know what I mean? People have jobs. People, even my husband was working the day before and like day after the hurricane hit. People have jobs. People have, you know, things and responsibilities and things to think about at home. And it's not like, you know, I saw some comments saying, oh, I would have left a week before the hurricane was hitting. And it's like, that's not even feasible for someone to be able to do that who has a life, like their life is in Florida. You know what I mean? So I could tell that people were getting really frustrated, especially there were so many people that post on TikTok who live near the coast when the hurricane was hitting and just saying, like, we have to stay, you know? And there's a lot of people who don't live in Florida. It's so funny because I feel like every single person freaks out about everyone who's in Florida and us Floridians. I mean, I've only lived here a year, but I know a lot more than I did before I lived in Florida. I listened to a 24-hour live stream. I listened to all of the governor's press releases that he's doing. Like, you learn a lot when you're in the state. And one thing I learned is there's different evacuation zones. And some people who live closer to the coast, they might not be in that A, B evacuation zone. So they might not have to evacuate. And everyone is prepared. Like, they know that this happens. And so people, even if they're not evacuating, they are prepared. And it's so interesting. Like, so many people freak out for the people in Florida. And it's like, A, you're going to stress them out more. Okay. And B, I promise you, we know way, way more than you do. And the decision that we're making, it's going to be the best decision for us. It's not like people here are like, what is the most dangerous decision I can make that is going to like drastically affect my family? Like, you know what I mean? We're here in Florida, not just me, but everyone is making the decision that they think is best. Plenty of people I know have been through hurricanes before and just like know the right decision that they're going to make. So all that to say, if you don't live in Florida, just don't tell the people in Florida what to do, because I promise you they're listening to a lot more than you are. They know a lot more than you do. And yeah, that's my rant. And that's all I have to say about that. Okay, I think that's everything. So I guess we can jump in. Our first story is actually hurricane related. And I wanted to talk about it because it's someone that I've known on TikTok for a long time now. But it's one of those things where everyone has a different TikTok For You page, right? Like, we follow different people. We all have, you know, different niches. We all have different For You pages with different things. And it's like, what side of TikTok are you on? Blah, blah, blah. So you may or may not have heard of her, but she is a social media influencer. Her name is Cecily Bachman. And she basically just posts day in the life of being a mom and like what she does on a day-to-day basis. Now, I started following Cecily back before she lived in Nashville. So she currently lives in Nashville, and I started following her because I just liked her morning routines, and I thought they were just relaxing and motivating and things like that. And they ended up moving to Nashville. She's married to a pastor. They have 4 kids. And just, I think, I don't want to say fame got to her head, but she has a ton of followers, and I just didn't like the way she was moving. And so I just unfollowed. And I always just, if I don't like a creator, just either unfollow or block them, you know? And, you know, I would keep seeing things about different scandals or just different things that she would do, and people were kind of like trying to cancel her. And she's just been through a lot of things like that. Most recently, you might have seen it. She was doing a birthday cake for her daughter and then let all of the other 3 kids blow out the candle. And she was just kind of sitting there like, I hate my life. Like, you know what I mean? And then, so her family, they started like a church together in Tennessee. That's why they moved down there. Her husband was the pastor of the church, and then they eventually let them go. We don't know exactly what happened, but speculation is the things she was posting on social media and just how she kind of, I don't know, things she does, I think the church probably just didn't like in the pastor's wife. I don't know. I don't exactly know what happened, but she's now no longer a pastor's wife, so that's a whole thing that was going on with her. And most recently, she posted that she was going down to Disney World with her family, and it was during the exact time that the Hurricane Milton was hitting. And she posted multiple TikToks leading up to it. She posted on her Instagram story when she was there in Florida. And I saw the videos and comments before, so she eventually deleted everything. But I was there before because I was kind of seeing the speculation of like people in the comments saying, you know, there's a hurricane coming. People in Florida are trying to evacuate, or if they live on the coast, they're trying to come to Orlando to find a place to stay. Like, you shouldn't be coming down here. People were evacuating, and I mean, the whole road, I mean, there's really only one way to get out of Florida, honestly, so it was all backed up. It was crazy. Gas was running low. It was a lot. And so just all this stuff came out. She was getting so much hate. She eventually was having articles written about her on People, Daily Mail, and it was a whole big thing. She deletes everything. And her sister-in-law, they both are influencers together. They live in Nashville together, and they married brothers, whole thing. And so they both ended up deleting everything. And then at the same exact time, when they got back from Florida, posted an Instagram story saying, you know, we just are kind of basically, and to sum it up, like, we didn't really know that was what was going to happen. We don't really follow the weather like that because we live in Nashville. But, you know, we rented a car and drove back to Nashville 11 hours and didn't fill up in Florida to not use resources from other people who needed it. Just ridiculous. It was definitely scripted. And the only reason it made me so frustrated is because just the whole, like, acting dumb. Like, you're telling me you're flying to Florida when it's all over the news. I know for a fact you knew that there's a hurricane coming, but then to come on social media and be like, oh, we didn't know. Like, sorry. And then now they're just going back to regularly scheduled content. It's just frustrating because I know there were so many people trying to get to Orlando specifically. Every time there's a hurricane, like, if you're on the coast, you know, even if you can get a few miles in, it's just you want to get to a more centralized place in Florida. And just for them to, like, come down and take space. And when they knew about it, I mean, when they drove down, I think it was already to Cat 3. So just people like that who just have that big of a following, I feel like sometimes they let that get to their head and they prioritize content over the reality of what's kind of going on in the world. And it backfired on them, and now it's everywhere, and she is yet in another scandal. So it's like she has 9 lives or something, because this is like, she's been in a lot of little scandals. So anyway, I just want to talk about that because I've been following her I don't follow her, but just I'll see, like, different things that is going on with her. And when this happened, and then it was on People and Daily Mail, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl made it way up on the news. So crazy. I didn't even tell you guys I was just talking about the hurricane, but yes, I made my 24-hour road trip to see Post Malone. We got back last night, so that's why the episode is going to be out today on Sunday. And just the best night of my life. Like, seriously, worth the drive. It went by too fast, though, and I thought about it because we drove 7 hours there and back. And the concert is really, I saw him for like 2 hours because we had the opener and all of that, and he was singing for about 2 hours, and I knew the set list, so whenever it was kind of getting closer to the end, I was like, please, no, like, I don't want it to be over, and he needs to come to Florida. Can you please come to Florida? Because I literally had to go to Atlanta, as it was the closest city to me to go see him. But something about concerts, or just like, at least the concerts I go to, the people around are just like the nicest ever. And I don't know if it's because, like, I had a few drinks, and let me just say, if you meet me and I'm more introverted, I'd say I'm an introvert extrovert, so I'm not like gonna go up to random people and like make best friends with them. But if I have a couple drinks in me, like, you will think I am the most socialist butterfly whatever person, and you won't even think it's me. So anyway, there were these people next to us, and I went over and literally I just got up, started talking to this woman. They were married, and anyway, just the whole night, they were just so nice, and everyone around me was just so nice and amazing. And if you don't know me, like, fireball shots are my thing. Like, we brought fireball shots into the Post Malone. Like, that's just what we do, our thing. And the couple next to me were, like, throwing me over fireball shots because they had some too. It was just, like, the most perfect night, just so much fun. You know, anything with, like, my husband, my friends, Post Malone, just, like, music and just a good time is just, like, perfect night. And it was nice. It just went by way too fast, and now I'm just, like, kind of decompressing, but also, like, sad and trying to plan my next big thing. So we're back home, just relaxing right now until we get into those busy months coming up with holiday season, which is also very stressful. I feel like as a kid, the holidays are so fun because you don't really have to plan anything or do anything. Your parents just kind of, like, make the holidays so magical for you. And now that I'm older and married, it's, like, so many decisions, and, like, it's going to be so much traveling, and not looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it to see, like, family and friends, but it's just, like, the holidays are a lot, so I'm already mentally preparing for that for sure. But yeah, okay. I can't believe I forgot to tell you guys that. How rude of me. All right. So this next story is going to be a story that if it's not true, I'm going to be so upset, because this is about something that was my whole entire life for like most of middle school, maybe high school. And that is the show Once Upon a Time. When I tell you this show was my whole entire life, I made an Instagram account with one of my friends when we were in, I guess it was middle school. I don't remember when Once Upon a Time came out, but we made an Instagram account about it. We would post all the time. It was my life. And then it got cut short, season 7. And it just like, nothing will ever compare to watching Once Upon a Time for the first time. And the magic and the storylines and the actors and just Captain Hook, Rumpelstiltskin, like, oh my gosh, please, like, it was just perfect. It was a perfect series. Nothing will ever compare and match up to that. So that leads me to this story that there might be a reboot coming. And this is not confirmed. These are literally just because I'm obsessed with it and I'm just seeing little hints of like a possibility, which a possibility is better than nothing, okay? I'd rather hear whisperings than nothing. So basically, there were a few TikTok videos going around of people seeing these trucks with Once Upon a Time, like all around the truck, like the whole characters and all of that. And like, anyway, and it said like, coming soon or something to the effect of like, it could be a reboot. And it's like, why are these trucks driving around? So then I started researching online because I was like, okay, is this just like a truck that was older, but like, why are they seeing these trucks now in 2024? And then there was an interview that Jennifer Goodwin did, who played Snow White, and she basically said that she was open to a reboot or a sequel to the series and that she is available and ready if it ever does happen, and it would be very exciting to revisit that fairy tale universe. Which honestly, that again is better than nothing. And if you, Once Upon a Time, it was canceled, I think it was after 7 seasons because it got low viewership, which I feel like the longer a series goes on, it's going to get lower viewership because there was like, it was so magical in the first few seasons. And then, you know, at the end, it was kind of like they were running out of ideas, but it was still just like so amazing. So then there were more interviews done. Colin O'Donoghue, who played Hook, he said he would love to do a reboot and was hoping that it would actually work out. And then he hinted about it more, that he was like talking to some of the writers and other cast members. So I feel like maybe they're just putting it out in the air and seeing how people and fans are responding to it. Their Instagram account is still active. My Instagram account, Once Upon a Time Official, is not active anymore, or I don't even think I can get back into it. But if this is a thing, you guys, I will not be, like, this, think about like in your lifetime, if one thing could be rebooted that would like change your life, like this would be the one thing. Like nothing else will ever compare if this like comes back. Nothing in the whole entire world. Even if like Justin Bieber did, like, no. But we will see. I don't know if it's just rumors. I don't know what the trucks mean. I mean, I don't know what this means. But guys, take a shot every time I say, what does this mean? But surely these hints, like, it has to mean something. I don't know. I'm going to keep my eye close on it for you guys. Don't worry. Okay, our next story is about Millie Bobby Brown, who just got married to John Bon Jovi's son, Jake. They got married in a stunning Italian ceremony in May. And then she recently finally shared pictures from the big day, which I love that pictures didn't get, like, you know, leaked or whatever. So basically, the biggest thing for me was that Matthew Modine, who plays Papa on Netflix, on Stranger Things, he officiated the wedding, and it was giving me vibes of who officiated, oh my gosh, you guys, The Modern Family, my brain. Mitchell did it too, you know what I mean? Anyway, but it gave me those vibes of like that father figure that you have on a show, and then to have them officiate in real life, I think is just so special. So he officiated the wedding. He wore a simple black suit with a white shirt. There were white florals everywhere. And then she wore a custom lace gown with a cathedral length veil. And then she changed into a white mini dress after. It just looked gorgeous. And then he posted an Instagram picture saying like, thank you, blah, 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 and had a friendship bracelet on that said Papa on it. Just so special and so sweet. And I think that's just like, I love things like that. Why can I not think of their names? I'm looking at them literally right now, and I just talked about her last week. Sometimes my brain just like hates me sometimes, but it looked stunning. I'm so happy. They are just like the most picture perfect couple. Like, I'm obsessed, and I'm so happy for her. So exciting. Okay. This next story is also a very exciting one. I think it is super interesting, and I'm all for it. Spirit Halloween will now transform some of its stores into Spirit Christmas. And I think this is just genius because, as we know, Spirit Halloween really only pops up for a few months during Halloween time. So why not use those same buildings to do a Spirit Christmas? So they're going to be 10 pop-up stores who are going to be using this new Christmas concept, and they're going to be launched around the Northeast. First of all, they should have called it Christmas Spirit because it just like makes way more sense. But whatever, I digress. But the Spirit Halloween stores are going to be sticking around a little longer, with some select pop-ups being transformed into Spirit Christmas, owned by Spencer Gifts. I did not know this. Did you guys know this? Spencer Gifts owns Spirit Halloween? Okay. So owned by Spencer Gifts, the chain, which is the go-to spot to find decorations and costumes for Halloween, has expanded with a new concept by launching Spirit Christmas stores, and said that they're hopeful it will resonate with their customers. Our goal is to create a festive retail experience that captures the spirit of the season, much like we do for Halloween. They said each Spirit Christmas store is going to offer a unique shopping experience with holiday decor, apparel, inflatables, gifts, and stocking stuffers. Additionally, they will have the opportunity to meet Santa Claus and pose for a free digital postcard. Let me just say, this is genius, and I wouldn't be surprised if they continue on, if this is successful, with different holidays like 4th of July, Easter, St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day. I mean, I think this is really, really smart. So these are all going to be, it looks like, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. So it's kind of stupid for them to not put them anywhere in the Southeast. Hello. But I'm so excited. I think it'll be really fun, and hopefully they expand even more with this, and hopefully it's successful. But very smart idea. I love this. I love just pop-ups. There was a pop-up when we lived back up in Georgia, and it was like a Christmas bar. So fun. Just if you ever find a pop-up anywhere around you for like Christmas or Halloween, just go, because it's always amazing and so much fun. Alrighty, our next story is about one of my favorite authors. So FREIDA McFadden's best-selling novel, The Housemaid, is going to become a movie. So Lionsgate has closed a deal with Sydney Sweeney and is in the final negotiations with Amanda Seyfried. Did I say that right? I don't know. To star in the thriller The Housemaid, and Paul Feig is going to direct. The screenplay is by Rebecca Sonenshine, and it's based on the best-selling novel by FREIDA McFadden. Let me just say, if you are ever in a reading rut, or you just don't really know where to go next, you just like aren't really feeling a series, read one of her books. They are amazing. I do recommend The Housemaid just because it is a really, really good one and a good first one. So if you ever just in need of a novel to read and to break out of that like reading slump, 100%. I downloaded these on my Kindle, a few of hers, and I read them in like half a day. I mean, they're just addicting. You're not going to put them down. And that says a lot coming from me, because it takes a lot for a book to be like, oh my gosh. It's always like a crazy twist at the end. What was the other one I read by her recently? I don't remember. I've read a lot, but I do know she just came out with a new one. I think it's like The Coworker or something. But all of her books are just amazing. And I am so, so excited that this is going to be a movie. I think it's going to be really amazingly done. And yeah, very, very excited. I honestly am more excited for this than Verity. Just saying. So I'm excited. It's gonna be so good. All right, our next story is kind of a funny one, because it's a topic that I think about a lot. But Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh reveals that their sex scene went further than expected. So this was all over my feed. And first of all, I was like, why are people talking about this, and why are we sharing this? And I'll give you my thoughts of why this happened later. But they're filming for a movie called We Live in Time, and they said that there was a racy scene that they were filming together, and said that they went a little bit further because they didn't hear a cut, I guess. So it was a closed set, and I think there was just like the cameraman and maybe one other person. And so they said we were getting into it, and then we got a little bit further, and then we never heard cut, and it was feeling safe. And then they said they were like, we were kind of just sitting there finally like, this has been taking a really long time. And then they look up, and the camera operator wasn't even filming anymore, and he was just like standing turned into a wall with his camera. And I was just like, this is so crazy. Like, how awkward. First thought is, why wouldn't they just yell cut louder maybe, or again? Did they just yell it once, and then like, how do you not hear that? Two, are either of them with someone? Because one thing I always think about is like actors and actresses when there's like a sex scene or anything. I know there's intimacy coordinators, and you know, I've watched a lot of videos about it because I think it's so interesting just how they really like, it's very, very choreographed when there's scenes like this. But to me, this doesn't seem very, very choreographed, because when it is choreographed, you kind of know exactly what you're doing, where you're placing even like your hand, and like, so this didn't really make sense to me, just because I know a lot about intimacy coordinators when it's like on set. And then I got to thinking, it reminds me of the Bridgerton scene with Penelope and Colin, right? When they said that like they broke one of the pieces of furniture, and so everyone was so hyped up about the new season of Bridgerton. So then in my head I was like, maybe they're just trying to hype this up for this movie, because I feel like a few movies that have recently come out haven't been doing as well in the box office. So I'm like, maybe this is just like a PR marketing thing for people to get hyped up and excited about this scene in the movie. I don't know. It seems very weird that would happen, because a lot plays into scenes like this. But maybe they just weren't like, they just told them to just like go for it. And I guess, you know, like, did the operator just think they were, I don't know. Elon Musk, we saw a Cybertruck when we were driving on our road trip, and every time I see a Cybertruck, it just pisses me off, because I'm like, it's so ugly, it's so just like bulky, and it looks exactly like, I feel like if I had a 5-year-old son and I said draw a car or draw a truck, that would be what it would look like. It's just so obnoxious, and every time I see who's in it, it's just like this older guy, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, this is such an ugly car. But anyway, he struck again, Elon Musk, and he unveiled a CYPERCAP and a ROBOVAN. Every time I see one of these cars, it just looks like I'm in like a different world. Like, these just don't look like cars to me. But he finally unveiled the Robo Taxi, also called the CYPERCAP, and it is $30,000. I guess this is the one that just self-drives, and he said that having a car is expensive, and cars are doing nothing the vast majority of the time, but if they're autonomous, they could be used 5 or 10 times more often. So yeah, crazy. So I guess this was unveiled at some convention or whatever, and someone asked him when autonomous driving would be available, and he said that it was planned for Model 3 and Model Y at the beginning of 2024, but now it's not going to be available for at least another year. And then the CYPERCAPs is planned before 2027, which, okay, so I think from what I'm gathering, the ROBOVAN is this, you guys have to look at it. It looks just like one of the like little sections of a subway or a train. And then the other Robo Taxi just looks like a gold Monopoly piece. Honestly, that's what it looks like. So I don't know. But the ROBOVAN is supposed to transport up to 20 people. So if you want to take a sports team somewhere, or you want to get the cost of travel to 5 to 10 cents a mile. These are just too many numbers and too many words for me. My issue with this whole new era of self-driving cars is, unless every single car in the world is self-driving, I don't trust other drivers. Like, and I tell people all the time, like, I hate driving. It's one of my worst fears. I don't like it at all. And it's not because of the physical act of driving. It's because of other drivers. Because people are idiots and do not know how to drive. So at least if I'm driving a car and someone's being an idiot, like, I can kind of control my car. But if someone's being an idiot and I'm in a self-driven car, no thank you. I'm good. I don't think I could ever fully trust a car to do that for me and drive me around. But if this is how the world's looking, I don't know. I mean, maybe in 50 years, everyone's going to be in a self-driving car. I'm still waiting for the flying cars like in the Jetsons, but maybe one day. Anyway, so that was crazy. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to finish out this episode with our double night week of Dancing with the Stars. And then we'll be done for the week. And then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled Saturday episodes, because I promise you guys, year 2, I'm going to be more organized, okay? I need to be more on it. All right, so obviously we didn't have Dancing with the Stars a couple weeks ago because of the vice presidential debate. Boring. But Soul Train Night, which was on Monday, it was actually filmed the day of the debate. It just, like, they put it on TV a week later, if that makes sense. So I did not read spoilers because apparently people who were at the live show were, like, spoiling on Reddit and stuff, but I didn't look, okay, because I wanted to be surprised. So Soul Train Night intro, amazing, loved it. And they did say that they have gotten the most votes ever. They had, I think, 43 million people voting. So this season, I think, is honestly more popular than last season. And I will say, like, at the beginning, I didn't know probably half of the cast. And now I'm, like, obsessed with everyone. As I mentioned, like, whoever wins, I'm going to be upset at who doesn't win. You know what I mean? Like, I just love the whole cast. So, anyway, just a good season overall. Phaedra went first. I love his choreography, but it's almost, to me, like, he's kind of dragging her. Like, I don't know. I love her and her personality, but the dance didn't, like, do it for me. And also an 8 is crazy scoring for her. Sorry. She's not a bad dancer. It just, like, was not worthy of an 8, I feel like. Alona, I love their content on social media, but the dancing doesn't wow me. Like, there's just some people who every time I watch them dance, I'm like, I love watching you. And, like, I love her as a person. I love watching their content. I want them to stay for the content and just, like, her energy. But it just, I don't know, doesn't wow me. Anyway, and I think she was overscored as well. And I'm going to get hate for that. She's not the best dancer there, but she is, like, one of my favorite people there. So it's hard, you know. Eric, decent footwork, but, you know, he was stiff. And, you know, Steven, he is really, really, really good. And the judges being really hard on him, it was just weird to me. I think that what I've gathered from watching this show is I think this year they're really judging based off of the dancer, because obviously, you know, a dancer who is really only going to perform 5 to 7, you know, score dances, eventually they're going to have to get an 8, 9, or 10. And so I think the people who are just more skilled, the judges are going to be tougher on, because they're already going to be getting, you know, 7, 8, 9s. Well, they have to be perfect to get a 10 based on their level of dancing, if that, like, makes sense. That's what I've gathered. Okay, Brooks. I'm over them. I'm annoyed with them. I saw a video. She was getting, like, a tattoo at the tattoo parlor, and then her and Gleb were just, like, making out in the chair. I'm just, like, over them. It's too much, and this is not a dating show, okay? This is Dancing with the Stars, and this is not, like, a, I don't know. Just, I don't like them all. Good dance, but also the attitude when they got their scores, which I believe were, like, 7s. Both their attitudes sucked. Like, please, I want them to go home more than anything. Joey, amazing. He was underscored. Like, sorry, he's amazing. Love him. Dwight, you guys, from the beginning, I was a Dwight and Daniela stan. I wanted them to win. And after just seeing this dance, it just hurt my soul. And Joey is now my top contender. I know. I love Daniela. I love the choreography. I know they're going to have amazing dances, but Joey is just really, he's in it. His attitude's amazing. He's practiced and wanted to get better. Jenna's choreography is such a slay. They just look good together. I'm obsessed with them. And yeah, I know. Who am I? Danny has some great footwork. Like, I will say he's really good with his feet. Football player. I love him and Whitney together, but he needs to just let loose a little bit more, you know? Let loose, Danny. And then Reggie, fun to watch, but it also makes it hard to watch because, you know, he's not the best. Jen, why did I not write notes on her dance? Does anyone remember her dance? Oops. I think this is the one that, I don't remember. Dang it. I must have just gotten so ahead of myself that I stopped. Okay, well, I didn't take notes on her, but I'm sure it was good because she's a great dancer and I love her and Sasha. Okay, hair metal night. This is with that freako Gene Simmons. The fact that he was oh my God, he was literally giving out scores like it was a friggin' beauty pageant contest, and I literally hate this man. Before we get into the whole episode, though, he did respond about his comments that he made on the show. Guess what he said? I stand by every word I said. Excuse me? You stand by every word you said? Okay, well, you are actually the worst. You are literally the worst. But he said, I had a great time. The contestants were great. The show was great. Blah, 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 blah. I'm so disgusted with him. He's just like some of the comments. He said, he told Chandler and Kenny, fogged up my glasses, your routine. You move me, not just with your gyrations, blah, 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 blah. Difficult to look at you two and not figure out which one is more hot. Like, those are even the worst. Like, just gross. Like, literally, I can't with him. Anyway, now we can proceed onto the dances. But he was just like, oh my gosh. At first, like, when he made that first comment, I was like, okay. And then he kept going. And it's like, okay. Anyway, first dance, Danny and Whitney. I love the Paso Doble. That's my favorite dance ever to watch. It's my favorite. Again, really great footwork because Whitney does great choreography and he's great with his feet. But he was a little off. But they're just hot to look at. Like, they're such a good-looking pair to dance with and, like, to watch dance. And I really think that they can go far because he has a good attitude about it. He's having a lot of fun. But again, he needs to loosen up a little bit. And the 9. Yep. Okay, Reggie, he was overscored. But again, I feel like he's going home soon. Well, let me just tell you who went home. Can I tell you guys who went home? Can you guess? Like, it was Reggie and Eric, which it was time. I'm glad they went and someone else didn't go. But, well, Brooks could have gone. But I think they were just giving him a higher score because he's going soon. Chandler, my thing with her, she is such an amazing dancer. She's danced before. She was on Disney. She's the only one I think really who's had that dance experience. So for me, it's too easy for her to win. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to root for her because it's way too obvious. Like, I want someone else to win who wasn't a dancer and who has improved. Cough, Joey. But I love them. They're just so much fun to watch. All their routines are so good. She did, though. I will agree with the judges. I'll agree with the judges. She did lose stamina at the end. You could tell. But also, like, the amount of steps she's doing, like, that's crazy. So I think an 8 was legit. And again, going back to when they were kind of critiquing Steven, they really are, like, kind of the best dancers are going to be getting critiqued early on right now, right? Because, you know, they have more experience and they, like, are better and they're going to be making it farther and farther. And so they have to critique them more. Like, the people who just can't dance, you know. Does that what I'm saying make sense? I don't know. Hopefully it does. Brooks, yeah. I literally just said I'm over them. So icky and their attitudes suck. That's what I have to say. Steven and Riley, such a good partners. I'm not good at I basically, like, take these notes while I'm watching the show, and I'm also texting my friends and also, like, talking to my husband and, like, you know, so it's just like I need to take better notes. But really great pair. Loved the dance. Good partnership. Dwight, why'd they get a 7? Like, seriously, I do love them, and they obviously came back and did way better than the Soul Train night. But like a 7? Okay. Eric had good choreography this week. But then when Julianne made that comment about, is this another nothing situation? I was like, why would you say that? And I have been seeing rumors and some things online that people want Julianne to be replaced. And you know what? I kind of am down with that. I love Alfonso. He does great. Julianne, I don't think this role is best for her because I feel like she just messes up a lot. I think there was a situation where she dropped a card and was like trying to come up with a question. Maybe it was to Ilona, but she's just like kind of awkward and like, I feel like sometimes the contestants won't have a lot to say or like will say something back to her and then she'll kind of pause and stare at them and it's just like awkward. Does anyone else feel that way? I don't know. Okay. Jen. Okay, this is when it got a little crazy because she got a 7 from Gene, but he was giving out 9s at the beginning and now he's giving her a 7 and her dance was really, really good. The only thing I will say about her is you can tell she's very focused on the steps and she's not like just fully like being like butter like Chandler would be. But a really good dance, a 7, seriously. And then Phaedra, a 5. He's actually like such a hoe for that. Like a 5. I was shocked. I genuinely was like, that had to have been like, it didn't make sense because it was such a good dance and he did not go that low really with anyone. Like, why are you giving her what? I was so pissed off. Like, seriously, it made me so sad because I watched her on The Traitors and I love Val and her attitude is just like amazing. I love her. I'm sure she'll probably go soon, but I don't want her to because she's a great dancer. But a 5? What was wrong with him? What is wrong with him? I want to know. Oh, and then when he gave Brooks and Gleb a 10, please, this was like, I have my cat's food on a timer and it's 6 o'clock now and he's going to come running up here in a second. I forgot I had that on. Do I hear him? He normally like comes straight up. Anyway. And then Joey, he's just too good. He's amazing. I love watching them together. Their dances are so good. And it's just fun to watch. It really is. So that's my Dancing with the Stars recap. Thank God it's on this week because I'm dying for it. I'm dying for it. And yeah, what a fun episode. Some just really good stories, you guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Make sure to enter the giveaway. What else? I don't even know. I think that's everything. Praying again to all of those affected by the hurricane because it's just like seriously awful. Just upsetting. It's just like really hard. This world is like going downhill, man. It sucks right now. But anyway, I love all of you guys. I hope that this little podcast can give you just a little bit of a break from the real world and, you know, kind of talk about other people in the world. And just thank you all for supporting me. And you guys are the best and amazing. And I can't believe I've been doing this for a year. But anyway, I love you guys so much. I hope you have the best week ever. This is going to be your week, seriously, because the weather's getting crisper even down in Florida. So it's going to be a good week for everyone. And I will see you back here on Saturday for some more hot gossip, hot take, stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what? Bye, guys.